लाडली लाल की जय। गुरुराराधनादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतम् गुरोः परतरं नास्ति कृपालु गुरवे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। Seeking souls, as we walk on the path of devotion and on the path of spiritual progress, we wonder what our relationship with the world should be like. We have learned from our merciful Guru that the world does not belong to us and that only Shri Krishna belongs to us. So what should our relationship with the world be? We are confused. Do we need the world? Do we not need the world? Should we focus only on God? How should we do it? We have a body, so we definitely do need the world. Our body needs water, food, air. Our body needs all sorts of vitamins, vitamins A, B, C, D, E, many minerals like zinc. Our body needs the world. What our body needs can be provided only through the world, which has been created by God. So we must have respect for the world. These days people say, a lot of people cry about protecting the world, protecting Mother Earth. We should respect this world that God has given to us. Naturally, we need things of the world for the sake of the body. But we don't need as much as we think we do. If any one of you were forced to live out of a suitcase, and I didn't include myself in it because I already do. If you were forced to live out of a suitcase, you might think, oh, I can't do that. I have so much stuff. But if you were forced to do it, you'd be able to do it. Forcibly, you'd be able to do it. Then you'd become adjusted. You'd become accustomed to it. Then you'd find out how little we need to live on. So our scriptures tell us that we need the world and we should respect the world. And we should take only as much as we require for a basic living. We're not entitled to any more than that. We should not be wasting water, we should not be wasting electricity, we should not be wasting the natural resources, we should not be polluting Mother Earth. We should do our part. It's because we do need the world and we should respect the world. And this world is a creation of God. God creates the world with the help of His eternal energy called Maya. Maya has two aspects. One is Vidya Maya, the other is Avidya Maya. There is the intelligent aspect of Maya, there is the unintelligent aspect of Maya. It is with Vidya Maya that God has created all that we see and all that we cannot see with our eyes, but we know exists. This world is only a small fraction of this creation. Devi Bhagavad Puran says, if you try counting the worlds that are in existence, you could keep on counting, but you would not succeed because you'll keep on counting and there are unlimited worlds. You cannot count them. It may be easier, it will be easier to count the grains of sand that exist in the world. Sankhya chet rajasamasti na vishwanam kadachana Brahma Vishnu Shivadinam tatha sankhya na vidyate. As I said, this is a verse from Devi, Bhagavad Puran, one of the 18 Purans. It may be possible to count the grains of sand in this world, but it is absolutely impossible to count the worlds that exist. So the world that we are living in is a minute fraction of all that exists. We are part of this infinity. And we need this world because we have a body. How should we relate to people of this world? This is the tougher question. Alright, we should use only as much of the world, only as many worldly things that we really require for a basic living. That means that if you can buy an article of clothing for $20, $30, don't spend $200 or $300 or $500 on it just because you want that label, design label. In Hindi, that is called upabhog. It's not allowed. It's called upabhog, meaning this is luxury. This is using too much of the world. And if you can buy something for $20, $30, then it will serve the purpose. That is called upayog. You need that much. So go ahead and get that. Don't go for luxury. Go for basic necessities. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Puran, one of the 18 Purans and the best of all Purans, Bhagavad Mahapuran or Bhagavatam or simply Bhagavad. In the Bhagavad, Shri Krishna says, O humans, you are entitled to as much worldly wealth as is required to fulfill your basic needs. If you have food, 2 square meals a day, a shelter, a roof over your head, and basic things that you really need, that's all that you are entitled to. Yavat dhriyeta jatharam tavat svatvam hi dehinam adhikam yobhimanyeta sasteno dandamarahati. As long as you can fill your stomach, the amount of money you need for that, you're entitled to that much money. Don't keep any more than that with you. Adhikam yobhimanyeta sasteno dandamarahati. The one who keeps more than his fair share, I will call him a thief, says Sri Krishna, and every thief will be punished. So we are told by the Supreme Lord Himself how our relationship with the world should be. We're given a basic rule of thumb also. Nyayo parjita vittena dashamanshena dhimata. O humans, the amount of money you earn, give 10% of it religiously, give it away, give it as charity. And the best charity is the charity you give to the Guru for the spiritual mission, the highest mission. Because the Guru will use it to feed the poor, he will use it to build charitable hospitals, people who don't have enough resources to afford basic health care, they will be getting that. So you are actually serving the poor and the needy when you give charity to the saint, to the Guru. But give, at the very least, this is not the most, at the very least 10% of what you earn. But saints say that that's just a joke, that's just a spiritual income tax. It's nothing more than that. If you give 20% of what you earn, then you have donated 10%, and 10% is just the spiritual income tax that everybody has to pay. No, I don't believe in that. I don't want to pay the spiritual income tax. That's nonsense. God says, I will take it from you forcibly. And you won't even know that I've taken it from you, but I will tell you how I take it away from you. You'll have to spend it on lawyers. You'll spend it in the form of doctor's fees. You'll spend it on something or the other. That money will not stay with you. You did not donate it, so that punishment will be coming to you, But I will take that money from you anyway in one form or the other. Either you spend it on doctors or lawyers. Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say, you spend it on doctors, lawyers, or you give it to your children will become spoiled. Then you'll cry in the end. So, this talk about charity is in the scriptures because scriptures are trying to tell us how much we should use the world. We don't need as much as we think we do. We should not think, oh, I don't need the world at all. I don't need to eat proper food. I don't want to buy fruits because they cost too much money. I want to donate that money. That would be silly. It would be wrong. We need to have good health. We need to keep the body healthy because the body is a vehicle. It's a vehicle through which we serve God and Guru. So if the body is not healthy, we cannot fulfill the main purpose of life, and that is to use this body in the service of God and Guru. Then what is the point? We need all sorts of vitamins, we need all sorts of nutrients to keep this body healthy. You know that if the body is lacking in even just one nutrient, how much we have to suffer. Oh, the doctor says you have iron deficiency, you are anemic. You need foods that are rich in iron. You need to eat leafy green vegetables. You need to eat this, and this. You have a potassium deficiency, or you've got too much potassium in your system. You've got, you are lacking iodine. So, what happened is that in North America at least, the salt has iodine mixed in it, so that people would not have a deficiency of iodine. Every nutrient is available through Mother Earth, and it is important for us. So we should not deprive ourselves of that which is necessary for the body. But be very careful. God has told us, oh people living in Kali Yuga, be extremely careful because your focus is on the body. Therefore, you will more than likely, you will abuse the world, you will use too much of the world. So our concern should be that we should use enough of the world, but not too much of it. Upayog is allowed, upabhog is a crime in the eyes of God. What should our relationship be with people of this world? We should not think, oh, people don't matter. People don't matter because I'm only worshipping God. We must have deep respect for those who are older than us. We must have feelings of affection for those who are at the same age as us, and feelings of affection and love and compassion for those who are younger than us or those who don't have basic needs of life. We should have compassion for them. We should help them out. We should have deep respect for those who are older than us. We should have feelings, genuine feelings of affection for those who are our peers. And respect also. We sometimes forget that God is in every person and in every creature. We are supposed to love every creature. We're supposed to have respect for every creature, much less humans. When scriptures say, become detached from the world, we should not misinterpret that sentence as hate the world or use the world. Be very clever. Just use the world and then don't just discard them. Scriptures don't say that. Saints show us how we should be behaving with the world. These saints are at such a high level, spiritual level, that we should seem like little kide-makode, little insignificant little worms. But do they treat us like that? Never has any saintly soul treated us worldly people as little worms and insignificant. We can only imagine how Mirabai and Tulsidas and Surdas and Kabir Das would have related with the world, and we hear stories about them, how they related to the world. We hear about Mirabai, how her family, her in-laws tried to poison her, but she didn't retaliate, she didn't fight with them, she still treated them with respect. We hear that people in the community verbally abused Tulsidas ji and Surdas ji, but they didn't retaliate. They were very loving, still very loving towards the world. We hear about a saint who went to bathe in the Ganga river, Eknath ji. He went to the Ganga river early in the morning one day, as he always did, and when he came out after taking a dip in the holy Ganges, someone spat on him. And the saint went back to the Ganges and bathed once again. Again the man was waiting, and again he spat on him. And this went on back and forth, back and forth. The saint kept on bathing, the man kept on spitting. The saint didn't punch this guy out saying, "What in the world are you doing?" He didn't speak abusive language. He did not hit this man. He simply felt compassion for him. I must feel compassion for this man because of his ignorance. But actually Eknath ji felt very grateful to this man. When the man himself asked, "Why aren't you retaliating? Why aren't you fighting with me? Why aren't you hitting me? I wanted to pick a fight with you, but you're not fighting with me." Sant Eknath said, "I'm very grateful to you because every day I take one dip in the Ganga ji. Because of you today, I've taken numerous dips in the holy waters. Because of you." The man felt very ashamed of his actions. Now Eknath ji is supremely detached from the world. Does he hate the world? No, hating the world means you're attached to the world. So when the scriptures and saints tell us become detached from the world, they mean internally detached. Do not ever think that anyone in the world can give you happiness. Biggest illusion that someone will come along and give me happiness. That someone may be husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, child, someone, significant other. People say these days, significant other. Some significant other will come and I will become happy through him or her. The significant other is God. That is a significant other. Shri Krishna, He is the one who can give us happiness. So becoming detached from the world means not expecting happiness from the world. It doesn't mean being stone-hearted towards the world. It doesn't mean being cruel towards the world. It certainly does not mean hating the world. In fact, those on the spiritual path, please listen attentively, especially those on the spiritual path, must try to see God in every person and in every creature. Feelings of utmost respect should be there. Never should the feeling enter the mind that I am better than her and him and all of them. Never, ever, ever. Because the moment that feeling comes in, God just leaves. Look, I'm leaving. I cannot stay here. You've got too much pride. Prem gali ati sankari yame dvaina samai. The path of love is a very narrow path. You can either keep God in it or the world. So if you are keeping worldly thoughts, then God is not willing to stay. If you keep ego, God is not willing to stay. So never should we think that we are better than someone else. He's not a sadhak, I am. I'm a sadhak, you are not. I'm a sadhak, they are not. Wrong feelings. Listen to what Surdas ji is saying. Tulsidas ji is saying. Hari ha sab patitan koti ko mosam kaun kutil khal kami mosam kaun kutil khal kami. It's a beautiful pad by Tulsidas ji. Beautiful, beautiful. One day I'll share the whole bhajan with you. Perhaps during this retreat. But here the saints are saying, my Lord, I am the worst sinner you have ever laid eyes on. How can such a one think, I'm a devotee? And they are not. I am better than the rest of them. And we are just sadhaks, we are just beginners, we are babies, we are just novices on the spiritual path. But our ego tends to get very inflated. He's nothing. And Sri Maharaj always cautioned us, this is very dangerous. So we must have full respect for everyone. And they who need our compassion, they who need help from us, we must feel compassion for them. This is also something that we learn from saintly souls. They're always very compassionate. We have also been with saintly souls. We have had the privilege, many have had the privilege of being in the association with Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. And countless times we've had the association of other saints in the past, previous lives. They gave us compassion. They were very kind-hearted. They forgave us our transgressions. They forgave us again and again. While sitting in front of them, we thought against them. But they pretended as if they didn't notice it. While touching their feet, we thought against them. And they thought nothing of it. They just laughed it off. Oh, he's a child. She's a child. These children will learn. So, we have been recipients of amazing compassion from saints and of course God. Let's just think about how compassionate God is. We hardly think of Him, but He's always providing for us. The sun never forgets to shine because God has instructed the sun. You must give your light to the world for my children because otherwise they will die. Have you ever thought about what would happen if the sun did not rise? There will be total chaos, total devastation in the world. We are not thinking of God that much. And when we do think of Him, it's to fulfill some worldly desire. And yet, God does not forget us. He gives us what we need even before we've had the opportunity to ask Him for it. A newborn child does not ask God, look, I don't know how I'm going to stay alive. I need something to live on. No, God has already provided for mother's milk. And even the mother doesn't know how in the world that milk entered her body. But it does. It comes naturally, automatically. Otherwise, none of the children could ever stay alive. You may say, well, that mother, she died while giving birth. Now, how is her child going to survive without the mother? You say the mother is so important. Mother's milk is essential. Yes, that child may not have his own mother's milk, but he'll have another mother's milk. That mother may be mother cow, the cow's milk. Cow is a mother too. So now he's drinking the cow's milk. It's a mother's milk that the child is receiving, and the child didn't have to ask God for it. And when we, as children, when we started getting teeth, then God had already planned, He had already arranged for other food stuff for us to eat. Vegetables, fruits, grains, rice. We already had access to all the other food stuff. He provides us with enough intelligence so that we may live a productive life. He gives us a mind. If God did not give us a mind, where would we be? God gives the energy to the senses. It is because of the energy provided by God that our eyes are able to see, our ears are able to hear, our nose is able to inhale fragrances and other smells. Our tongue is able to taste many things of many foods of this world. Our skin is able to touch. Our five senses are able to perform their respective functions because of the energy provided by God. Our mind is able to think because of the energy provided by God. Our intellect is able to take decisions because of the energy provided by God. So God provides for us even though we are forgetful of Him. Not only forgetful of Him, but many people abuse God. And so many don't even believe in God. But God does not become cruel to them. God does not punish them for not believing in Him. Have you ever thought about this? That God provides for the believer as well as the non-believer. God provides for those who love Him as well as those who shun and abuse Him. And we belong to God. And compassion is very dear to us. We want others to be compassionate towards us. We must show our compassion towards others. Not only in our words, not just faking compassion, but we should show compassion through our words, definitely through our words. Words carry a great deal of importance. Words can bring a person down. With our words, we can bring a person down or we can uplift him. With a word, we can encourage someone to live. We can discourage someone so that he just wants to die. Our words can be so beautiful. We can affect someone so positively with our words that he'll always want to listen to us. And we can keep speaking such words that a person shies away. Oh, look, here she comes. Let me turn the other way. Words are very important. Words can encourage someone to become a saint. And words can encourage someone to become a robber, a thief, a rogue, a scoundrel. If a parent says to the child, "You'll never amount to anything," the child will be deeply affected by those words, and the child will certainly not amount to anything. There was a woman, a mother, and she received a report card for her child, and reading it, she started to cry. And the child asked, "Mother, why are you crying?" And the mother said, "Oh, your teachers have praised you so much. And you're doing so well in school. It makes me so happy. These are tears of joy." The child was so encouraged by what his mother said, and he turned out to be a renowned person. He became very good at what he was doing. He became a renowned scientist, in fact. Many years later, he found the letter that his mother had received from the principal. And the letter said, "Madam, your child will never amount to anything. He has no scope. He is very bad in studies." Had the mother spoken those words to her child, the child certainly would not have become a renowned scientist. Words are very important. So we should be compassionate to our words. We should be compassionate in our thoughts, first of all. Because if we don't have compassionate thoughts, we cannot speak compassionate words. And we should be compassionate in our deeds, in our actions. And not because it's the thing to do these days. People talk about committing random acts of kindness. Somebody doesn't have to make it hip to be compassionate for us, to be compassionate to others. This is just how we should be. Not because it's in style these days. It's because it's the right thing to do. Showing compassion, kindness. After all, we want kindness and compassion from others. So we should be compassionate to others. We should not disrespect others, not even in our thoughts. Because as you know, the moment we have thought something, God has taken note of it. So we are thinking, I just thought against him, I didn't say anything. But God says, I've already noted down that you disrespected him. So it has to start in the mind. We know we have to be compassionate, so we tend to be compassionate only outwardly. But compassion has to start in our thoughts. So being respectful to those who are older than us, being respectful also to those who are our peers and being affectionate towards them. And we should be compassionate, certainly very compassionate towards those who have less than us, those who need our help. Mocking attitude should leave the heart of a seeker. We should never mock anyone. Something that becomes second nature to us. Look at her. Look at how she's dressed. Those colors don't go together. What was she thinking? Look at him. He doesn't know how to talk, doesn't know how to walk. The moment we see someone, the critic comes out and says, he's wrong in doing this, she's wrong, she doesn't know how to do that. That we should silence that critic and say, stop it. Go ahead and critique yourself. Become your own critic. We should become our own critics rather than criticizing others. How do children learn? This we learn as children. We don't learn this later. We learn as children by watching our parents. Children observe their parents. So parents are talking. Oh, you know that guy who drinks like a fish? And the child goes, oh, there's a guy. Oh, that guy. Okay, his name is that. Oh, he drinks like a fish. And my parents were talking about him. So then that person, that gentleman, comes to the house one day. They invite that man. And the little child, who was so innocent, he said, Mommy, Daddy, look, there's a guy. He's here. The guy who drinks like a fish. and this man is just looking, and the parents are embarrassed. What are you talking about? They may even slap the child. Get out of here. What are you talking about? But children learn from their parents. This is why parents, they who want the privilege of being parents, must become real parents. They must speak appropriately in front of their children, and that you cannot speak appropriately until you speak appropriately all the time, because sooner or later you'll slip. So it has to start from the mind, it has to start from inside, it has to start with our thoughts. Yes, we should be detached from everyone, but what is detachment? Can I give you an example of someone who is detached? Yes, Jagatguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj. He was completely detached from the world. So did he not care about anyone? He cared deeply about everyone. He cared very deeply about everyone in the world. Not only those who came to him, but about those who had never come to him. Not only those who praised him, but more importantly, those who disrespected him. Not only those who praised him mentally, but even those who found lots of faults with him in their mind. He was equal to everyone. He was very compassionate. He gave his lectures not only to his devotees, he gave them to the whole world. When Sri Maharaji was giving lectures, titled Main Kaun Mera Kaun, 103 lectures, Sri Maharaji said to us, I'm giving these lectures for future generations. He doesn't know the future generations now, but he has so much compassion that for generations who are coming, he is giving these lectures. Every day at the age of 90, he was giving lectures because of his deep compassion for everyone whom he met and for everyone whom he would never meet. So, they who have been blessed with the association of a guru, they of all people, we of all people, should know what our relationship with the world should be like, because not only do we know it through lectures, but we also know it from personal example. The example set by our Guru. The world is not bad. The world is good. Because God has built it. God has made it. God has revealed it. How can it be bad? How can anything that is revealed by God be bad? And the world is real, it's not unreal. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Adi Shankaracharya says, the world is an illusion. What he means is that there is an illusion of happiness in the world. He doesn't say that the world doesn't exist. Of course it exists. We see the trees exist. There's a ceiling over here, doesn't it exist? It exists. This microphone that I'm speaking in, it doesn't exist? Of course it exists. This building, it exists. Illusion is that if we think there's happiness here, in this world, or in some people of the world, or in that one person of the world who will love me the most, that is the illusion. That is not real. Because God created this world with Vidya Maya and God is real, this world is real, and because God is completely good, the world is good. It's how we look at it. If we are good, we tend to look at the world as being good. If we are not so good, the world is not so good. If we have a corrupt mind, the world seems very corrupted to us. If we are not trustworthy, we will doubt each and every person. I doubt you. I'm a doubtful natured person. Because I doubt you because I'm not trustworthy. I can't be trusted, so I don't trust you. We always project our own feelings upon others. How we are, we see the world to be in that way. The world in itself is good. It's very useful to us because of our body. And scriptures and saints have told us how to live in the world. They say to us, live in the world, knowing that the world does not belong to you, but it is important for the body. And behave with people of the world, knowing that God is in every creature, God is in every person. Have deep respect for everyone. Have compassion for others. Those who are, you say, oh, they're ignorant, and they're not judging them. But yes, this person doesn't know the rules of God, then let me be compassionate. This is how saintly souls look at us. Let me show my compassion. Gauranga Mahaprabhu wanted to release the Sudarshan Chakra for Jagai and Madhai, who had wounded his dear devotee, Sant Haridas. But Sant Haridas said, my Lord, may I remind you that you are causelessly merciful. These two brothers, they are suffering from the disease of ignorance. So someone who is suffering from a disease needs our compassion. They don't need justice. They don't need nyaya or justice. They need your compassion. They need your love. They need your forgiveness. We are children of God. Godly qualities are extremely dear to us. We want others to behave with us in a godly manner. This means that we should also behave towards others in a godly manner. This is how our attitude should be as we, on the spiritual path, on the devotional path, live out our lives. This is how we should behave. By knowing that God dwells within everyone, and everyone is worthy of our respect, our affection, and our love. This is not to say that if someone is doing the wrong thing, that we need to go to that person and say, well, I have learned to be affectionate towards everyone, so I am going to hang around you. No, his association is very dangerous for us. So we should respect him and have affection for him, feelings of goodwill towards him, but from a distance. From a distance. Don't go near him, because he smokes, he drinks, he takes drugs. He doesn't like taking the name of God. You don't need to go near him, but don't disrespect him either. Because isn't Lord Krishna living inside of him? Yes. Stay away. Keep your respectful distance. But dur se namaskar karo. Do namaskar to him. Bow to him. Internally, respect him, but from a distance. If we learn to do this, then we will live as seekers should be living. If we're not living like this, then we need to learn. If we are living somewhat like a seeker but not completely, then we need to fulfill the lack that is inside of us. Rather than looking at the lack within people around us, we need to look at our own shortcomings, and we need to introspect, we need to inspect ourselves, we need to work on ourselves, because remember, we are all works in progress. We are sadhaks, we are not Siddha Mahapurush. We need to work on ourselves. But this is the path which forces us to look at ourselves and to improve, make improvements. Rather than trying to make improvements in everyone else, we need to make improvements within ourselves, and everyone around us will become inspired by us. We can help someone, we can teach someone through words, which is good, but we can teach that person more effectively through our own actions. That is much better. A man who smokes, smoking like a chimney, he cannot say to his son, "Son, I don't want you to smoke." That will not be effective. But if he gives up smoking and then says, "Son, don't smoke, it's bad for your health," then that is a better way of teaching. So let's keep these points in mind. Let's live as every sadhak is supposed to live. बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्रीमद् सतगुरु सरकार की जय, जय जय